What's good, family? What's good? It's your boy, Urban Sports Guru. Here we are for Wildcard Weekend. Here are my picks. The first game of Wildcard Weekend will be the Raiders versus the Bengals. I love this QB matchup. I love this matchup with Derek Carr versus Joe Burrow. I really, really like Joe Burrow. I mean, Joe Burrow gives you a lot to like. And I told y'all the reason why I take Joe Burrow over what they got Justin Herbert over in LA. I just think he has more dog in him. And I'm starting to realize when I watch Justin Herbert, there's a reason why this guy was never in a college football championship. He has every single measurable you could think of. First, I blamed all the coaching, and some of that got to be him too. And Joe Burrow had probably the best college football season of all time. So I love the dog in him. I love the weapons that he has. They have a defense that works well in the playoffs because they can get after the quarterback. The Raiders' offensive line is not the offensive line they had years ago. Years ago when they had those two good tackles, that's not exactly the case now. Neither team can really protect each other, protect their quarterbacks. Both teams can get after the other quarterback. Neither is really great on the back end. I think Cincinnati's better than the Raiders. Raiders, what they do is they stop you from making big plays. The Gus Bradley system, they're going to stop you from they're going to stop you from going over the top. They're playing in Cincinnati. Cincinnati's giving 6. Vegas Raiders, because of Derek Carr, they're not even supposed to be here. Derek Carr this year has, to me, gotten an appreciation of seeing really just how good he is. If he played for a different franchise, different coaching system and everything, he would be right there with all these other upper echelon quarterbacks. I expect a great game, and honestly, I expect the Raiders to win by a late field goal. Don't sue me. I don't know. I can't give you any real, I expect the Raiders to win by a late field goal. Patriots at Buffalo. It's the third matchup between these three teams. Y'all know what happened in the first matchup. Brutally cold, insane win. Patriots only threw the ball 3 times, pounded it down their throat, got to win. Second game in Foxborough, better weather conditions. Buffalo's able to do what they do offensively. They got the win. So much comparisons have been made with this Patriot team to Belichick's first championship team with Tom Brady. And I think this is what has to be understood. That year they played the Rams early in the season in Foxborough, and the Rams won. Close game. Second game, of course, was in the Super Bowl. Game was tied. And Tom Brady, who didn't do much throughout the game. I think he only had like 97 yards passing, but he had that game-winning drive. Football is not like baseball. It's not like basketball. There's no 7-game series. And I say that for this reasoning. The playoffs are like the Super Bowl. And it's like, there's no 7-game series. You got to bring it that one time. But when you're playing the team the third time, talent wins out. That's why a lot of times in baseball, and particularly basketball, talent wins out. It's rare in a 7-game series in basketball that the least talented team ends up winning. Because you get 7 games over the course of those 7 games in 2 weeks. I mean, talent wins out eventually 9 times out of 10. Buffalo's roster is far more talented. If you're talking about just a 1-game scenario, who knows, Bill Belichick, mad genius, could come up with whatever. Yes, but the fact that this is their 3rd time playing them. And I bring up the example of when Belichick played against the greatest show on turf. If those teams played, they played twice. If they played 5 more times, if they played a 7-game series, basically, I think the Patriots lose 4-2. Maybe 5-1. It's just that the one they did win was on the biggest stage. And flip to that, my Giants probably only beat that great Patriots team in the 7-game series 1 time. It's just that the one time you did win was on the biggest stage. But when the fact that they're playing for the third time now, the one way they had a chance to win, they blew their load on that. I can't see them doing that again and get away with that. Can Belichick come up with a whole new game plan defensively to slow down Buffalo? Absolutely. Can he come up with a whole different game plan to be able to score enough points to beat Buffalo? Because Buffalo's going to score some points. They're going to score 21 points. Buffalo's going to score 21 points. I don't know. And I say Buffalo wins. Buffalo wins. We got Philly at Tampa. And I spoke to y'all about this a couple of weeks ago. Antonio Brown bullshit aside, I see the same similar shit that's happened last year. Last year they had so much winnable games against bad competition, and Tampa was able to get their mojo started until they ended up playing some real teams. And that's what's happened end of the year, this year. And this Wildcard weekend, you play against a team that's tailor-made for you. You play against a team in Philly at home who has not beat a winning team all year. Who's every exceeded expectations. The defense is good up front, particularly at the tackle position. That could bother Tom Brady, yes. But they've not beat a winning team or playoff caliber team all year. That's one. Tampa the last 3 years has been the best rush defense in the league. Philly runs the football better than anyone else. So you're going to have to rely on running the football to beat Tampa in Tampa. Yes, they may have some success if they're able to get out on the perimeter with Jalen Hurts or whatever. But enough to outscore Tom Brady and the Patriots? Hell no. And Patriots will be able to get their mojo up for this, for whoever they play next week. It's not exactly the same, because I don't think this is the same Tampa team. But the core of what's happening, I think, is very similar. And they're going to be able to get their mojo up and run it up against a far inferior team. You see how Dallas is able to do them and run up the score? Tampa's going to be able to do that and run up the score, because Philly's not going to be able to stop them. And even if they do have some success running the football, it will not be enough. It will not be enough to outscore Tampa. Book it. Tampa's win, 8.5, cover that shit. Now, the most intriguing game of the weekend, we have the 49ers in Dallas. Most intriguing game of the weekend because it's contrast of styles. And me being the Cowboy hater that I am, but I'm going to give credit where it's due. Cowboys, what they have defensively is something that works in the playoffs. They have a plethora of pass rushers that can get after you with just 4. And they have a good cover guy. They do give up some big plays. They do give up big plays in run game and pass game. And they force turnovers as well. That is a formula that has worked come playoff time, especially against quarterbacks and passing team. That's why number one way to stop a quarterback is to get somebody on the other side that can kill a quarterback. And they got a multiple guys that can do that. And a lot of times, I told you, we have a good defense, a good defensive player. Sometimes you need a superstar for them to play off of, and they got that with Micah Parsons. I didn't know this kid was going to be this damn good. I didn't see it coming. Wow, he's a problem. However, you're playing against a team that in San Fran that does not play that way. They play physical, most creative run game in football. And Kyle Shanahan is so dedicated to the run. And the two most glaring losses in his career are the two times he wasn't dedicated to the run. Outside of those 2 games, he's always been dedicated to the run, unless you get out too far of a lead. And 17-0, as we saw last week, is not too far of a lead. Yes, it was against the Rams, who they always beat, but it wasn't too far of a lead. However, I think what's going to win or lose this game is San Fran's front. San Fran's front. Because I think San Fran's offensive line has a great offensive line. They have the best tackle in football in Trent Williams. They'll be able to run the football throughout the course of 4 quarters. The question is, can San Fran's defensive front, cause enough problems for Dallas's offense to slow them down? Because if they can, that will keep the game close. Because they can't cover Dallas on the back end. But if they can cause enough problems for Dallas up front where they can shut down the run, where they can get after Dak Prescott and force him to make mistakes and force him where they're not scoring, then the game will be close. And then I like San Fran. Then I like San Fran a lot. It's all going to be on San Fran's front line. Joey Bosa, Greenlaw, Armstead, Kinlaw. The game is in their hands. I like San Fran. Pittsburgh against KC. Now, Pittsburgh throughout the years when they play KC, what they'll do is they just ride Le'Veon Bell. Thing is, you have Najee Harris, who I think is damn good. But at this point, maybe he could be a Le'Veon Bell. They definitely don't think. They don't have the offensive line now that they had then. And Big Ben Roethlisberger is a hell of a lot more washed now than he was then. And KC still has a problem when it comes to defending the run against physical teams. But when I look at them, Pittsburgh offense was going to have to go down the field. And they have the players to do it. If they're doing that and they're challenging KC down the field, they could make this a football game. But when you're going 35 or 45 and how many passes are inside of 5 yards, you're completing 35 balls and you barely have 200 yards and you don't even have 200 yards. Like, that's crazy to me. You're going to have to challenge them down the field. You're going to have to, because KC corners can be beat. And Pittsburgh has the receivers to beat them. Only question is, KC offensively. I think this game is going to be more on Pittsburgh up front, defensively. Can you fuck with Patrick Mahomes enough? You have the defensive player of the year, TJ Watt. Can you fuck with Patrick Mahomes enough? We've seen what can affect any quarterback, even Patrick Mahomes. You saw it in the Super Bowl. You got to kill a quarterback. They revamped the offensive line, and they've had this whole season to gel. Can you get after the quarterback? Can you kill a quarterback? If they can do that, they can keep it close. Eventually, I think KC still wins by 10, 13 points, 12 and a half. KC's going to get the win. Now, the toughest game of the week will be Arizona on the road playing the Rams. Rams have everything that you need. The one flaw they have, they don't defend the run very well. Not like last year's defense. Then you look at Cardinals. They're getting Hopkins back. They're getting J.J. Watt back. And I look at the Rams' offensive line. You want to do the drop back game now because you have a Matt Stafford and all the things, his arm talent, and you got the receivers. But when they start doing that, those guys can't block them up front. They can't do that. They can't block them up front. I've seen that throughout the year. That's why they have to be dedicated and mixing in the run, just to keep the defense honest. Because if you let Chandler Jones and T.J. Watt and Simmons just go, Matt Stafford's going to have a hard time. I think it's going to be, how is the Rams' defensive front playing? Because when they won, they gave Kyler fits. You got Bane in football cleats and Aaron Donald. He's going to have to play like Bane and kicking ass and taking names. He's going to have to play like that. He had 3 sacks in the previous game. He's going to have to play like that against the Rams, against the Cardinals. They're going to have to play like that because they're going to give you the opportunity, especially since Kyler Murray, he's such a shorter quarterback. He takes much deeper drops. So the edge rushers, Von Miller, Floyd, you're going to get a hell of a lot of opportunities. Especially if you can keep contained, you're going to get opportunities. At the very least, you're going to be sending them right to Aaron Donald. This game is going to be won or lost by the Rams' defensive line. More so than Matt Stafford. Because even if he plays bad, if that front plays well, they will give him more opportunities to win and lose the game. That defensive front will be able to almost cover for them if they're dominated. And I like the Rams in this game. If you maybe choose quarterbacks, I'm taking Kyler Murray because Kyler Murray can do more plays, and I think Kyler Murray is special. But the Rams front, that Rams front has convinced me I like the Rams. Those are my picks. That's my take. It's your boy Urban Sports Guru. I'm out. Salute.